new there, guess what? Surprisingly, it was a good week. And I have not been seeing far from that. I've not seen it coming because I was bad. I was pretty bad, and there was no way out of this mess. And apparently, I just had a good week, which is nice. I don't know if I talked about it last week, but I came into a lot of money recently. It's an administrative mess. I'm probably not supposed to have it, but I have it, and it's very hard to convince myself not to spend it. Because there's like 50-50%, 50-50 chance for that money to be rightfully mine or not. And my subconscious doesn't like 50-50 chances because it's very hard to not to have 5,000 euros on my account and not spend it and just care about where my money goes when frankly I have a lot of it. So I can really do whatever the fuck I want. So I'm really happy about the mattress because that way I do not have to care about the price of it. And I went to the thrift store thinking I was going to buy a wardrobe because I was like, even if it's 130 euros, it's totally doable. I have 5,000 fucking euros on my account. But I didn't find the one of my dream. None of them really fit my criteria, so I just didn't. But I still thought about it. So yeah. I didn't buy the wardrobe, but I bought bedside table drawer. It's pretty, I like it, so I'm not regretting it. If everything goes well, but they didn't call again, so I don't know. The mattress should come Monday. And then I would have to call her store to take the old mattress and the old bedside drawers away from me. On my bedroom project, I only have the bed to make, which is another project. It's separated, but I only have to replace my wardrobe and my clothes drawer. So that's pretty cool. That means I'm actually doing it, you know? That's pretty cool. I really want to find the right wardrobe, and I'm pretty mad at myself for not buying the one that I wanted when it was there. I keep thinking that another one just like it will come up, but it never does, and there is not a lot of turnaround in them, and I always see the same old ones that I do not pick because I do not want them. So I want them to be thin, but I can't find them yet. Thing that I did buy with my money, because I have a lot of money and I want to spend it, about two things that cost 50 bucks each. And it's squirts. I bought two squirts. They're not in perfect shape, but they're pretty old, so that's pretty good for that old. And they are great. They have all of those little grooves, and it's really pretty, and they look badass. And they would look even more badass if they were properly cleaned and used in cosplays. For a little story, as one of my big dreams, I have My Little Pony cosplays, and I have one video that I want to make. And for that video, I'm gonna need Lunar's army and Celestia's army, and I want them to have a different sword because it makes sense to for them to have different armors and different swords. So I have two swords, which are not exactly in the same style. I prefer this one. It's more... I prefer it. And so I think I'm gonna use this one for Luna and the only one for Celestial Army. And this one I'm gonna need a bit of help because it's still moving. It's very annoying, but no problem because they're pretty cool and I love them. And they were on my list of things that I wanted to spend money on when I will have money. And I have now. So on my money, I have a list actually. When I have money lists, and on it there is only left a book press that I want, but it's pretty hard to find. My dream glasses that I will get in January as soon as I have my appointment with my eye doctor. My gold tattoo on my forearm that is not exactly an urgency because it's gonna hurt like hell and I need some time to prepare myself psychologically. And the mattress, which is coming Monday. So it was a long list, very very long list, and I did all of it except for the spore. I'm really happy about it. I mean, I'm really good, really good at money, so I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy. There was a lot of it. Anyway, like I said, I had a good week, and you can see it by the way that my sofa is pretty arranged and not just a big mess that it has been for the past 3 months. It feels like. And also I have been sewing, and one of them, the thing that I've been sewing is the vampire cape. It's not very shown, but it's lower on the back than it is in the front, and the color is not exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to stick up, but it didn't. But it's okay because I'm gonna make it anyway. And I wanted to add some Chinese button nut closures there, but I have not, because it requires me to learn to make the knot thing, and it's late. I don't have the mind space energy for that right now. So probably tomorrow. One of the things that I tried to do today and for the past 3 days is make a bow tie, and this is my 4th attempt and it's the best I managed to do so far. It's not great, but it's the best I've managed to do so far, and it is too short. I cannot do it because it's too short. So I gave up at that point because I've been struggling to make this one so much and it wasn't working. So I just took a step back on myself and asked myself, what the hell was I doing it like that myself? So I said, fuck it. I went on eBay and it's like $5. So I bought 3. I bought a red one, a black one, and a plaid one, and all of my outfits will fit with either of those. Why did I spend 3 days on something I can buy for $5? I don't know. Maybe I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, but I just proved to myself that I can't. Just friendly advice, don't do that. Bow ties are hard to sew and they're bitches, and just don't do it. Really don't. So that was my week. What else did I do? So it was a good week. So I went to the orchard. I took pictures of one of my nightmare outfits. I was still not great, but I was better. So I managed to do it, and I went to the car place to have my tires changed, and also I installed the treads. Look at those, aren't I cute? I mean, I love them. They're the closest threads I have to hair. They are my Nightwish set, the thin set, and they're very thin, and there are a lot of them, there are like 50 of them, which it took me forever to install them, and I was tired, but I still did it, and they're so close to my actual hair that I can actually style them pretty much all at once. So I can like tie them back in little ponytails like that, and they look good and look pretty and cute. So I'm pretty. So on Friday I went to the Orchid and to the tire place. I took my appointment for my control on my car that I could do because I have new tires, and installed my dreads and did some laundry. And on Saturday I went to the thrift store. I went to buy some yarn and to a party store, kinda. It's like a junk store, everything that doesn't fit. And there was some Halloween stuff. So I bought some Halloween stuff. Not so much, but a little. Including one shitty, very shitty witch broom that I will use as a prop for one of my nightmare outfits, and a couple other things that I can't remember just yet. They were not really memorable. And I also, if I'm sure, I also went to buy pumpkins. So I bought 3 pumpkins and yeah. And since my yarn was in those pre-made things, and I wanted to make them in balls, pretty untangled balls, I did that night because I had nothing better to do. On Sunday there was a live stream from Christine McConnell, so it was productivity live stream, so we were encouraged to do stuff with it. It lasts 2.5 hours, I think, and I did all 3 pumpkins in the meantime, and I was very proud, and they looked pretty good. I just flew them away because they rot fucking fast, always, and that's pretty normal because they're just vegetables that I carved, and they're not supposed to last forever, but yeah, they're gone. They didn't last till Halloween. That's life. At least I don't have rotten stuff there anymore. So I did that. I did a little bit of sketching for October bullet journal. Didn't last very long, but I did try. I think it's so much worse to say I did try. On Monday I went to the control and to buy a mug. It's a mug that I found in a novelty store that I like. It's pretty pumpkin mug that I liked, and I wanted to buy one for Julian. And they didn't have it anymore because apparently they don't have a lot of stock, and those Halloween stuff go very fast because they're mostly the only ones carrying anything Halloween in all the city, to be fair. So they didn't have it, so I'm going again today, well, tonight for me, because like I woke up at 3:30 p.m. and I'm gonna have to stay awake until at least 10 a.m. to go there and pray that they have it and that I didn't go for nothing, and also go to the pharmacy at the same time. I did that, and I went to see Venom 2, and it was pretty good. Very, very good for monster fuckers because, wow, Carnage was hot, and was pretty mad about the fact that the villain Thropol was killed and torn apart before he was killed. It was very much like The Mummy 2, where Anck-su-namun and Imhotep were torn apart before they were dead, because apparently the villains cannot love stronger than the heroes love, which is rubbish. And it was a little bit like that, so I was pretty mad. But it was life, and I couldn't do much about it. So there was a lot of things that I wasn't happy with, but it was pretty fun. And it fit expectations mostly, and yeah, Carnage was hot, so I'm taking it. And I also started the sewing journey. So I made the patterns on Monday. I made the patterns for the ghost costume, for this cape, and I started sewing. I sewed my ghost costume. The ghost costume is done. It's done on Monday. On Tuesday, I did a lot of ordering online because I have money and it's hard to just not. And planned for a big ass grocery shop where I spent $80. So it was the plan. And I sewed the cape. So as far as that, it's not finished because it's missing the closure. But maybe if the closures don't work, I think I can just wear it like that. It's not falling at all because it's a circle thing, so it's not falling. Maybe I'll just keep it like that. We'll see. And I made the pattern for my Reaper costume, which I did the next day, so yesterday. I did the Reaper costume. It took a while because the armholes and sleeves, it's pretty hard. I'm not very comfortable doing that yet. And I did 3 attempts of the bow tie, and the fourth was today. So yeah, I did that yesterday, and I also went grocery shopping and spent $80 and did a package for Vinted. Today I went to fetch the swords. That's the reason I woke up that early. It's because I had to fetch the sword. And I had my appointment at 5 p.m. and the guy didn't show up. The guy didn't show up, and I called and I was like, okay, at 5:15 I start calling. I call again at 5:30. I was like, it's 5:30, guy, man, just answer at least. And I was like, I drove 35 minutes one way. I paid the toll to be stood up, and I was super mad, but I'm also very patient, so I decided I did not do all of that traveling for nothing and not willing to pay the toll again and make 40 minutes back just for nothing. So I decided to stick it up, and around 5:45 he finally answered and told me that he was stuck in an appointment that he forgot that he took at the same time as me. So yeah, he arrived and I bought the sword. So patience paid. That I was lacking patience, and I didn't have any more patience for the bow tie after that. Like, I only have so much patience for one day. So that went there. And I did a 4th attempt on the bow tie, and I went to lay down that package, and I did some dishes. I know I was in the mind of doing the closure today. As I said, I'm just tired. And even if I'm forcing myself to stay awake at least for another hour, I don't think I'm gonna be very useful to anyone, so I'm gonna keep binge watching Veronica Mars, and if I still have time after that, maybe I'm gonna read. I haven't read in days, so maybe just something less tiring, because I'm pretty tired and my brain is pretty fried. And if I want to keep up the good work and the good productivity, I'm gonna need some rest. And today is more likely a rest day. So that's what I did this week, and overall I'm pretty happy about it. That means that 2 of my 3 costumes are done before Halloween. I still have pictures to take of all of them, of both of them, but they're done, so it's pretty positive. I'm pretty excited about pictures, but they're gonna take a little while of work yet. I haven't done my Beast costume, but it's a fall costume, it's not necessarily an Halloween costume. So I think if I do it after Halloween, I'm gonna be completely fine with it. I have branches for it, I have the fabric for it, I have a vague idea of the shape of the thing. It's gonna take more mind and brainstorming, so I haven't done it yet. And that's not exactly my priority anymore. So I'm doing great. I want to take the picture of the costume on the 30th. What I have left to do is bullet journal. I'm a month late. That's pretty pathetic. So it would be great to do not only October but November too. Take the picture of the 2 costumes. I have the 2 crafts, the doll and the fairy, to make that were on my Halloween list, and to make apple bread. And when those are done, I will have all completed my full list. It only leaves the apple bread, the zombie doll, the fairy skeleton, and on sewing I have the cushions left, but I wanted to make them in November, so it's okay. Costume Beast, again, it can be made later. I wanted to make a dress made with this fabric that I bought super expensive years ago that I actually want to use, and use that as a lining for it. I wanted to make a multi-layered skirt with that. One of those Etsy style things that, you know, have a lot of layers and a lot of oomph to it. That's why I use some cheap fabric. And I want to make with scraps of this and the pink and the green. I want to make a patchwork dress inspired by Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is another of those outfits for the Nightmare videos. So that was 2 things that I wanted to make. So the patchwork work, the multi-layered skirt, and the plaid dress are my next goals. Finish the cape with the clothing is one of them too. And when all of that is done, I will have successfully finished my fall, which I'm doing pretty great, considering I've been paralyzed for a week and depressed for 4. I've been doing pretty great. I'm pretty happy, by the way, that it'll be used for mock-ups, because it's pretty ugly and cheap, and I was like, if I have to sacrifice fabric, let it be this one. So yeah, I'm doing pretty great, and as I said, I gave up on the writing of the advent calendar. Since I've gave up on this one of the things that I wanted to finish before the end of 2021 will be the Dream series, because it's a realistic goal. It's only gonna take, I have 5 of them I think right now, and I'm gonna have like 10 hours others, and they're really one shots. They never take more than a few hours. Even if I can only write one per day, which is not always true, it's still pretty much easier and more expeditive than whatever else I can do. Dream series, if I can work on the MLP series, would be nice. Because of Venom, I also want to write Fix-It for the Carnage Throuple that, failed. And Imhotep and Anxiomoon, so maybe I'm gonna write those Fix-Its soon or not. We'll see. But I wanted to write them anyway. So yeah, I'm doing pretty great. And I'm pretty happy about it. But like, only a few days left on October and I haven't finished it. I haven't even sketched half of it. This is pretty pathetic. I really need to work on that, but I'm really not motivated for this one. I think a bit too much more than I can chew, and they're complicated, and I'm just not motivated. Would be nice to practice painting. I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna focus on things that I can do right now, because they feel much more interesting for my mindset right now. I have the sewing machine here, so I think I'm gonna sew as much as I can until my brain gives up, mostly. And make the apple bread, because I promised apple bread, and the grocery shopping trip that I made yesterday was the first one ever to contain non-gluten on it, and that means that I now have only a limited amount of gluten in my life. In my apartment I have some pasta and I have some flour, so I'm gonna use both of them until they're gone and I can officially stop gluten. So one of the things that I have to do is make scones and make apple bread, and you just use this flour. And I wanted also to make the chips cookies. So they're on my list too, but they're really not a priority or anything. So priorities are apple bread, Fairy and the doll, and the pick of the costume. And if I make all of that, maybe work on the bullet journal would be nice. It's not done. And of course try to sew as much as possible without completely going crazy. It's not done, but it's okay. I'm having a little bit of fun. I still hate ironing, and I still hate machine sewing. I'd rather and sew everything if I could, but it just doesn't look as neat. So yeah, that's the week that I'm planning to have. See you next week.